Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Mid-Tier Thoughts. It's me, Austin, and today we're talking about surplus and why it is your friend as a modern Minuteman or prepared citizen. Today, there's a lot of emphasis on a lot of high-end Gucci gear, Crye Precision, a bunch of different stuff like that. A bunch of really high-end good gear that's out there. And it is quality gear, but it comes with a price tag. Now, for a lot of people starting out, especially nowadays where things are getting crazier and crazier, especially whenever we're looking at things like the ICE protests and riots and all kinds of things, people attacking federal agents, all this kind of stuff. There's a bunch of craziness that's going on out there. Every day, more and more people are waking up to the reality that is out there and realizing that being a modern Minuteman or a prepared citizen, whatever you want to call it, it's kind of not that crazy of an idea after all. And they're kind of coming around and realizing, I need to start preparing. Now, for those of us who have been doing this for a long time, we all know that this is kind of an expensive hobby in this sense. It is a lifestyle change for a lot of people. It requires a lot of money to get prepared, whether that be just firearms and gear and training, or storing up weapons and ammo and food and medical supplies and extra batteries and all extra kinds of stuff, other alternative heating sources, food sources, whatever. It really is a rabbit hole you can dive down to and spend tons and tons and tons and tons of money. Now, someone like me, I've been doing this for probably the better part of 15 years at this point. And, I've learned a lot along the way. I've bought bad stuff. I've bought good stuff. I've spent little money. I've spent good money. I've bought once, cried once. I've bought many times, cried many times. And so I understand how hard it can be and how much money it can be to throw at these things. So today we're going to talk about surplus items, police trade-in items, things where you can save a little bit of money and still get some really quality stuff. And I'm talking body armor, kit, gear, helmets, guns, the works. We're going to go through a little bit of everything of stuff that I've picked up over the years and some tips and tricks that you can use to save yourself some money. So first, let's go ahead and dive into the sexy stuff, right? But first, real quick, a word from today's sponsor.
Speaking of personal safety, when it comes to personal safety online, it's on us to protect ourselves. That's why I use Aura, today's sponsor. Aura keeps you safe online by doing all the hard work for you. They identify data brokers who are selling your information and submit opt-out requests on your behalf. Well, you could, in theory, opt out of these data brokers yourself. Every one of them has a different policy and way of operating, which is why Aura is so nice, since they step in and handle all of that for you behind the scenes. No headache, no problems. Give Aura a few weeks and you'll stop seeing your information on the sites when you search yourself, which will lead to way less spam. I know my Gmail folder is way smaller now that I've started using Aura. Aura will also continuously monitor the dark web and alert you if they find any personal information exposed. Anytime you sign up for a newsletter or a website and that stuff gets leaked, they're there to step in and help you out. They're going to let you know fast if anyone tries to use that information to access your credit or bank accounts. Plus, they give you up to $5 million in identity theft insurance should the worst case scenario happen. The Aura app also has a VPN with over 100 virtual locations. Does your VPN do that? You can go to the link in the description or type aura.com/midtierthoughts to try 14 days for free. That'll be enough time for Aura to find out if any of your personal data is exposed and let you know. Stop leaving yourself vulnerable to data breaches and brokers. Go to my sponsor, aura.com/midtierthoughts, get a 14-day free day trial, and see if any of your data has been exposed. Link in description. See below.
All right, I told you first we're going to dive into the sexy stuff. Now, here's one thing that I think a lot of people think of when they think of surplus firearms, is they think of military surplus, like this old Enfield here. This is a number 4 Mark II and 303 British. These are very popular and they are widely sought after. Now, I'm not going to advocate that your first thing that you go out to get into is military surplus firearms. And I'll tell you why. If you're anything like me and you've been in the kind of like Minuteman space, prepper space, whatever it is, since the 2012-ish, then you will, just like me, have seen plenty of videos where someone's got a $75 Mosin Nagant and kind of the surplus kit that comes with it with a couple pouches as kind of like their bare bones $100 prepared Minuteman like outfit or whatever, or loadout. And while I think that worked well at the time, because this was back when PSA had kind of a bad reputation, they weren't really reliable yet at this point in time. Most of their guns were kind of hit or miss. It was kind of hard to find like a good, decent rifle at a valuable price. And so a lot of people were looking for other alternatives and they were turning to military surplus. Well, nowadays, this rifle that back then would have been $200-300, these are pushing the cheap ones I've seen around in a little bit worse condition around $500. And they're going anywhere up to like $1,000 for these, depending upon make, model, different things, attributes about these. And while 303 ammo is not hard to find, it is a little spindier than 308. And it depends on the surplus rifle that you're looking at, but they can vary now. Even Mosin Nagants used to be able to, throw away at gun shows for $75. They're pushing five, six, $700 sometimes. So it can be pretty hard to find one of these at a reasonable price. And so that's what I want to say for this to kind of start off is that there are better alternatives to this out there, especially in a day where Palmetto's making rifles between $300 to $500, depending on if you're getting one on sale or not. And their reputation has come a long way. Now, if you're still on the fence about PSA or you're not really sure what you want to get with other companies like BCA, with Bear Creek Arsenal, or like Palmetto State Armory, or some of the other more budget-friendly brands out there, there is another alternative. So police trade-ins are a great way to save a ton of money. Basically what happens is departments will, over time, take a lot of their older stock as they're upgrading stuff or maybe looking for ways to raise money for the department, and they will sell off some of their old duty weapons. So this here, I have this one kind of tricked out. This here is a Colt SP01 that I picked up from a police trade-in. Now this is obviously rattle can painted, not too well at that by me. This is in 5.56. This is just a standard AR-15. Now you can see I've got it outfitted. I've got a red dot up top here. I've got a flashlight mounted on the side. I've got a sling kind of just held on here by a rubber band. It's obviously on the sling swivels, but just the excess kind of held by a rubber band, and I have it suppressed. Now, the stock rifle, minus the optic, minus the light, minus the suppressor, I got this for less than $500. It was between $400 to $500 at the time that I got it. Now, a rifle like this, if you were to go on Gunbroker, which granted, you're going to get a little scalped for price on Gunbroker, but from the last time I checked, the cheapest ones I'm finding are 12 to 15, with these realistically going up almost to $2,000. So getting a rifle like this that's a police surplus rifle is a killer deal. So it's going to be used, right? But a rifle like this, especially from the department that it came from, was a smaller, more rural department. And they really, from looking at the wear and tear on this, I would assume they probably shot it for a yearly, maybe a biannual qualification shoot, where they would go out and have to certify that they're capable of, hitting the target at a set distance, probably twice a year. So probably maybe 50 to 100 rounds a year, because these things were in fantastic, immaculate shape. I had a buddy of mine bought 3 of them as soon as they hit our rack at the gun shop I was working at. So with deals like this, you just got to know where to look. Police trade-in shotguns, police trade-in Glock 17s. You can make tons of great deals out there and save a ton of money. You just got to know how to look. Now, if you're willing to go into different calibers too, you can usually find 40 caliber police trade-ins dirt cheap because everyone's ditching 40. Part of that just has to do with the FBI testing on ballistics kind of showed that there wasn't too much of a difference, so why pay more for the ammo and have less rounds in the magazine? But with that, there's a ton of great options that are out there in the police trade-in market. You can get Mossberg 500s, Remington 870s for $200 or less. Usually on police trade-ins, Glock 17s, Gen 4s or Gen 3s, sometimes even Gen 5s for less than $500, usually closer to $300, $300 to $350 if you really look. So you can save a ton of money out there. So police trade-ins are a great way to go find a rifle like this. And you can obviously see that, like, just because it's an older style of rifle doesn't prevent you from being able to kind of tack it out and have fun with it, right? So I've got a rail up here with my red dot. Now this rail still allows you to use your iron sights and co-witness there, but now I can mount optics up top. If I wanted to mount a 1:6, I could. It'd be a little awkward with the eye relief and just having to be up so high, but they do make risers for these on the back here. Check out Hammy 3D Prints. He makes some pretty cool ones. And you can put red dots up here. You can still mount lights. You can still mount laser aiming modules. There's just different ways of mounting those to here. And you can look up some of the older rifles like the Gordon carbines and things like this. You just got to get a little creative, but you can still trick this thing out. So a simple swap of the muzzle device, now I'm able to suppress it. I mean, these things are still super awesome and still very easy to modify and bring into the modern world. You just got to go out there and look. And most police trade-ins nowadays, I mean, it's 2025. Most of these places that are trading in 10 to 15-year-old rifles, they're coming in with flat-top ARs. Some of them also have carry handles if it's an older department, but they might have flat-top ARs and be basically like the equivalent of a Colt 6920 or something like that, where it's just a flat-top Picatinny railed AR with a similar style of furniture, similar style of build, and you're going to get a rugged, reliable rifle that is going to run and work, is probably hardly been used, and is good enough for you because it was good enough for them. So just something to consider with that. As far as sidearms go, again, police trade-ins or used guns. Don't be afraid to buy a used gun. So this here was kind of my present to myself whenever I left the gun shop. This is a Beretta 92X. So this is just a compact version of a Beretta 92 and it has a rail. So this guy here can hold up to 17 rounds. And I picked this up for 3.5-ish, 3.5 Benjamins. I mean, that's not bad. Something like this is a super reliable firearm. They go for way more than that new. Picked it up on the used market. It was a killer deal. And I just paid whatever our going used price was. I didn't try to make a ton of extra money on it. It's been a fantastic firearm. Again, barely used. So now that we've got firearms out of the way, as far as like surplus stuff that's out there and things you can look at, you're thinking to yourself, okay, well, what about firearms accessories, things to go with it? So for example, this holster, also surplus. This was, I got it on eBay from an Army Navy surplus guy. So this supposedly was, if rumors are to be believed, and I don't know the full story, this holster was designed for the 92 with a rail system for the Ranger battalions. I'm not 100% on that, but basically it's a Safariland holster. It's got their Cordura on the outside. It's in multicam. It's got the quick release up top here. It's got on the back side, you've got the QLS system, so you can mount this on a variety of different holster options. So if you're not familiar with how the QLS system works, this is basically a fork. This is a male end that attaches to a female end that you can, like on this drop leg here, you can pull that off and you can slap that on. So you can mix and match your holsters with a variety of different options. Now this holster, a holster like this from Safariland, they can sometimes run kind of spendy, right? With the Cordura and being specific to the weapon and the light and all this stuff, sometimes these holsters can run up $150 or more. And I paid less than $100 for this. I think it was like 80 some odd dollars plus shipping, or maybe shipping included off of eBay. So you can make some really good options for gear that's really good, reliable stuff if you go look at used and surplus stuff. eBay's a great place. Facebook Marketplace is another. So you can get some awesome stuff for holsters for your used guns that you can get at a decent price. Another one too, again, came in with the police trade-in lot. This is just a standard Safariland holster. This one is for, I believe, Glock 17s. And this came in with that lot. I picked it up for like 20, 30 bucks. Like, again, dirt cheap, really awesome holster. It's level 3 retention. So you've got a button here that pushes down. You've got a lever here that you need to defeat. And then you also have this to supposedly keep people from grabbing this. This is removable. Some people like it, some people don't. But again, another great option for stuff that you can get dirt cheap, right? Another thing to consider too when you're looking for gear is you can look for surplus gear, both American surplus and foreign surplus. So I've had this on the channel before, and I run 308 magazines in here as a way to kind of plus up my kit. So I usually throw this on with a belt system, and I can have a bunch of extra magazines, or you can run this alone as its own magazine. So this is like a $20, $25 Chinese surplus. It's a Type 63 rig. So they have SKS rigs that are a little bit smaller for the pouch sizes that will fit AR mags, but they'll kind of stick out a little bit on the top. You gotta modify them a little bit. But these will hold 7.62 by 39 mags that are 20 rounders. These will hold 7.62 by 51 or 308. So currently right now, I think I have some M14 mags in here. And yep, that's what's in here, M14 mags. So those fit in quite nicely. They slip right in. And again, this is a chest rig that's like 20, 30 bucks. And simple modifications you can do to it is that basically it is just these harness straps. If you have a sewing machine, you can chop these, add buckles, make it a placard. You can do whatever you want to them, and you don't feel bad about breaking it because it's 20 bucks. And then on the back side, to attach around your back, usually it's just this here and this side that tie together, but I've kind of just half-assed modified it to where I can use a buckle system, and it's way easier than trying to tie or untie something around my back. But again, a cheap piece of kit that you can pick up, dirt cheap, you can run it all day long, you don't feel bad if it breaks, bends, busts, or at least you have something until you save up to get what you want, but it's an option, right? And with these pouches, you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pouches. So if you want to run them all ammo and then run a belt or a plate carrier, or run a belt or like a slick plate carrier or something like that, that's an option as well. If you want to, maybe run 5 and run a small med kit and a radio, something like that, you can do those as well. You can modify the crap out of these things. You can do whatever you want. A little bit of ingenuity and a sewing machine, you can make this into a variety of things. So there is a huge world of surplus out there to look at. Now, there's other considerations as well, and we're going to come back to a few things here in a minute. But what about things like protection, like body armor, right? Body armor has come down a lot in prices nowadays. I think you can go get a set of like RMA level. I think you can get level 3 plates for like $100, like level 3 or 3+ plates for about $100 a plate or so. You can usually get a full carrier and plates like in a combo kit for under $400. They're going to be a little bit heavier than some of the good, like the really good stuff that's out there. Usually the way that body armor is going to work, at least with hard armor, is that the heavier it is, the cheaper it's going to be, and the lighter it is, the more expensive it's going to be. Just because it takes a lot more to kind of condense that same armor stopping capability into something smaller. So depending upon what threats you're looking at, right? Another option you could do too, and again, Facebook Marketplace, you can find these things. eBay, police trade-ins, the occasional auction or yard sale, is you can always sometimes find used soft armor. Now my caveat with this is check the expiration date. These things do technically expire. This one, for example, is past its due date. I actually had a friend give this to me. He was like, hey, do you want to use this for your channel? And I was like, yeah, dude, I'll use it. He was going to get rid of it, try to sell it for a couple bucks. And I said, oh, if you're not doing anything with it, I'll take it. So I am going to do a video where we shoot at this and see, even if this expired soft armor, how much it will hold and will it stand up to its rating. So this one is supposedly level 3. So in theory, it should stop most pistol cartridges. An occasional rifle cartridge, well, we're going to test that out to see how well this actually holds. So again, something like this though, as long as it's not expired, because I'm not 100% sure and I can't advocate for how well expired stuff's going to do. I've seen people sell stuff like this on Facebook Marketplace. This is front and black soft armor for around $100, sometimes even less, 80 to $100 in my area. Usually it's a lot of people that are former security guards or former police officers, something like that, and they just got in a closet and they got no reason to have it. They don't care about it. They want to get rid of it. Something like this would be a great option to have if you don't have anything. You could throw kit over this as far as like a chest rig or something like that, like the chest rig you just talked about. You could definitely have something like this. You could definitely have something like this, soft rig, throw this chest rig over it, and have a poor man's kit, right? Something that's good enough, ready to go. You could wear this under clothing. There's a variety of things you could do with this, but this is an option for sure. Now, with all the stuff we've talked about, you're probably thinking like, okay, well, where can I actually go out and find this stuff? Well, one, Army surplus stores, yard sales, flea markets, gun shows. If you look at online, places like Venture Surplus, things like this, but also Facebook Marketplace, again, while they don't sell usually guns there, you can usually find a lot of gun adjacent stuff. And there's a ton of military surplus on there that's dirt cheap. So when we're talking about full loadout kit, I'm going to show you something here real quick. That's kind of a combo of things that I got in a duffel bag for $50. This guy was selling basically a sea bag full of military surplus gear from way back in the day when he'd been in the Army. He didn't want his stuff anymore. He was just trying to clear a storage unit. $50 got me all of this. So what all was included? Well, for $50, I got this helmet. This is a PAGST helmet. This is basically what we used prior to the Mitch helmet and everything after that. So this helmet was used throughout like the 80s and 90s into the early 2000s. On the inside here, it's nothing fancy. I found on eBay some pads that you could find. They're not padded usually. I added some padding to this to kind of help cushion your noggin a little bit. I tried to modify it just a little bit. This also comes with an old school NVG mount on here for night vision, things like that. I don't have night vision yet, but it comes with it. So if you wanted to mount something on there, you potentially could. You could even put a GoPro on there. But you can have something like this with this little cover came in there, as well as what I'm about to show you, which is really cool. Okay, so as far as stuff that we got in that duffel bag, again, this whole duffel bag was $50. So we've got ammo pouch here that holds 3 magazines. This is the canteen pouch, the butt pack that holds a ton of stuff, another canteen pouch, and another set of magazines. One magazine, two more magazines, one magazine, two more magazines. These are all attached to the vest, which you can kind of see here is on its own, and it integrates into this Alice belt. So all of this, plus that helmet right there, all of this was 50 bucks. That's it. $50 for all of that. So all of this, the M88 LBV, all of the pouches, except for this one that came on here. I've got this pouch on this vest. It has a single mag pouch, double mag pouch, single mag pouch, double mag pouch. There are technically grenade pouches here on the sides. I don't have any grenades or really a whole lot of use for this pouches, so I don't really use them. But I've got that attached to the Alice belt. I've got a tourniquet up here, right? That didn't come with the kit, but this holds 3 mags. This is a med kit pouch that I acquired myself. Canteen, I've got my sleeping roll and a bunch of sustainment equipment inside my butt pack that also came with this. Again, another 3 mags, another canteen, space to put a holster here. All of that, plus this helmet and this loadout, came for 50 bucks in a duffel bag from some dude on Facebook Marketplace that's looking to clear out a storage unit. You can find really good deals. So if you consider now the amount of money that I paid for this rifle, if I were to run this rifle without all the extra doodads I've added, just stock rifle, let's call it $450 on that, plus 50 bucks for all this kit from Facebook Marketplace, and this was only a year or two ago. So let's even increase it, call it 100 bucks. For under $600, I now have the capability to carry 2 canteens of water, 12 rifle magazines, sustainment kit in my butt pack. I have a freaking helmet and a serviceable, reliable rifle for under $600. Like, this is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about surplus, about awesome deals that you can get. This is the kind of thing that I'm talking about, guys, is these are the deals that you can go out there and find. You just got to take a little bit of time to go look. And finally, guys, backpacks, Alice packs, whatever you want to call them. A way to carry a lot of your sustainment stuff. Now, this is an Alice Pack Large. This is a big old boy. On the side, you have pouches to hold canteens. I'm currently washing my canteens out right now, so I don't have them in here. You can hold e-tools, you can hold extra magazines of ammo, you can hold a whole bunch of stuff, right? So you've got these side places where you can add webbing and add other pouches. Inside, you've got 1, 2, 3 very large pouches that you can stuff with whatever you want. Inside, you've got a rain flap here, you've got storage inside for days. This thing is super big, super wide. You can find Alice packs and the frames themselves for not that expensive at your normal Army surplus store. Look online, look on eBay. This one I was gifted to me by my grandfather, but you can find ones out there. I've been looking out there for other ones for not that expensive. They are actually pretty cheap compared to a lot of the modern style hiking and military style backpacks that are out there. You can get these fairly affordable. They've worked for years. They still work really well. You can wear the pack with or without the frame. The frame itself is this metal frame here. What really does save you over time is getting good quality shoulder straps. So these are the ones that came with it. Other ones, I haven't had too many problems with these. Some of them I've known have a little bit thinner straps, but getting good quality straps for this, and there's tons of videos out there on modifications you can do to these to make them more comfortable, or little things that can kind of be dealer's choice as far as when it comes to making things a little bit better for yourself. You can add different pouches and things on here. You can add add a compass on here or something like that if you want to have that available while you carry this. There are different options of things you can do, but the Alice pack is a great surplus option that is not that expensive. So again, guys, all together, go out, look for deals. Go online, check out Facebook Marketplace, check out surplus stores, go to your Army Navy store, check out yard sales, gun shows, things like this. There are a ton of really good stuff that's out there. You don't have to break the bank. You don't have to wear the latest and greatest. No one says you have to be decked out head to toe in $30,000 worth of kit. People have been doing just fine in the kind of roles that we would realistically fill in gear like what I've shown. Realistically speaking, with this as well, the average modern day citizen, and whether they're prepared citizen, modern day Minuteman, whatever, we are not going on gigantic assaults across the country to liberate the city of whatever. That's not a realistic ideal or outlook, I think, for the modern average day citizen. There's a lot of logistics that go into something like that. And realistically, it's going to be hard enough in any type of disaster, SHTF, or government collapse, whatever it is, just for you to stay alive day to day with just your normal routine. Realistically speaking, it's not going to be like a zombie movie. It's not going to be this total apocalyptic, overnight everything collapses kind of things. You're probably still going to have to find a way to pay rent. You're probably going to have to pay the bills. Don't go into debt trying to get really awesome badass kit because you're freaking out about things that are going on now. There are affordable ways that you can get now, especially when times are tough. There are affordable things that you can acquire and build up over time. Before you get any of this gear, to be honest, before you get any of this, start looking at, do you have enough food stored up? Do you have a way to get clean water, store clean water, or replenish your water supply? Do you have medical supplies on standby? Do you have alternate lighting and heating sources for your home? A lot of homes these days are electric, and as we go into the winter months, do you know how to heat your house if the electricity is off? Do you know any ways without burning your house down that you can keep your house warm in the winter and make it through if the power were to go out? If there were to be blackouts or brownouts, how would you be able to get through that? Simple things like a Mr. Heater, little things like that. These are things to think about way before we ever get to this. But if we do decide that this is the path we want to go down, you don't have to dump a ton of money into this. And especially if you are new and you don't know what you're getting into, in my opinion, there's two ways you can go about it. You could buy once, cry once, and go with whatever the latest, hottest, and greatest YouTuber guy is pushing to sell and say, yep, I'm going to go spend $600 on this chest rig and then have no idea how to run a chest rig. Or you could buy something that's affordable, you could get used to it, get some reps into it. If it works, great, keep it. You don't need to upgrade. If there's something that is better and you think that, hey, I've learned what I do and don't like about this, okay, sweet, go get the upgrade. But you understand why you need the better equipment now. You have an understanding of what this is. Like, think about it this way, right? Whenever you get your first car, right? Some people go out and they buy once, cry once, they get a really nice killer car the first time. Other people, they get like a crappy Honda Civic or Subaru Outback or something like that, and it's like keeping it running, learning how to maintenance, learning how to do all that stuff. That builds a set of skills that you can then take into that to where you really appreciate some of the things once you're able to afford a nicer car later down the road. I look at a lot of this stuff in the same way. You want quality gear, absolutely. You want quality stuff, absolutely. But you don't necessarily need to break the bank day one to say like, hey, I've got the latest and greatest. It's okay to start somewhere and build your way up. So with that, guys, we'll catch you on the next one. Check out the sponsors down below. They support us. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share with your friends, and we will catch you on the next one.